hurts Gustavo Petro, undoubtedly, but also Colombia. Because whether one likes it or not, he is the president we elected who represents our country.
For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Jolani Tulo Wepe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
It's gone 7 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Good afternoon and welcome to The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, The African Perspective, with Tebogo, Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito, coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Catch us on our social media platforms. We are live. You can stream us, see our lovely studio at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Download the SABC Plus app so that you can take us with you wherever you go on your Android or your iOS device. And if you'd like to revisit some of our conversations and check out our newly revamped website, go to www.channelafrica.co.za. A big thank you to Lulu Gabu and Team Africa Update. Join them again tomorrow, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central African Time. Good afternoon to you, Mmatsheko Mosito. How are you doing?
Hey, Tada! I'm good. It is a Thursday. I just don't get how we got here so quickly.
Quickly, right?
Wasn't it Monday like 12 hours ago?
Also,
And now we're Thursday.
when you enjoy your job, right? When you enjoy your job, time moves very quickly.
I think that's what it is.
Very quickly. Have you ever noticed when someone really enjoys their job, like hours would go by, and for them it would be like, oh, it's only 10 minutes. I think only 10 minutes or 30 minutes went by, but actually 5 hours have gone by. So we've been enjoying our time and days have gone by because we've been enjoying ourselves in studio.
And we're truly blessed. We are so blessed. And we're blessed to have you as an upsider, part of this wonderful space that has formed gateways into Africa. Thank you for tuning in. Coming through on the show this afternoon, we are going to be speaking to Sarah Langa. I've been dying to say that.
Does she have a song? I don't know. Does she have a song?
No.
Or did you just make that up?
No. So there's a line in rapper.
Yeah.
A rapper who used to be part of a trio known as Tear Gas. His name is K.O.
Yes.
He's got a line in one of his songs. I forgot the name of the song, but it's not a recent song. And it's Sarah Langa. Oh, man. She's going to be here. She is a gorgeous queen, very educated, very influential. And we're going to just have a hangout with her, and it's going to be wonderful.
Absolutely. But we kickstart our conversations this afternoon addressing that bullying video that you saw on social media at the Milnerton High School. We'll be getting into conversation with a psychologist just to unpack the psychological impact this would have had on the child, the impact it would have had on the parents, and also to an extent understand the psychology behind the bullies themselves at this young age. What does this mean growing into adulthood with this kind of a mindset and this kind of, shall we say, desensitized to what is right and what is wrong? And so that's going to be a very important conversation. You're more than welcome to weigh in on it and let us know your views on that video And where do you think it went wrong? And how can we fix such things from happening and prevent them from happening in the schools going forward? Our WhatsApp line, +27 63 406 9126. Or alternatively, comment below on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. It's 10 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome to The Upside.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel Africa. Adivinha só, a Channel Africa quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel Africa está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Broadcasting in 5 different languages, connecting the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African perspective. Upside, 1 to 4 p.m. Central African Time. With Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito. Only on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Let's be honest, I don't mind if I be honest. She in control, she feel on it. The patrol that calm me down. You like this, I like thing, my love. I love being your love. I'm tryna show you up, you up. Comforter, she really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl. I'm loving the way you twirl. You twirl in the Maybach. She really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl. I'm loving the way you twirl. You twirl. Fresh up and it on me. But you can't do it slowly. You're dirty wine, would you put it for me? Take a picture in the shot sleeve. I had a feeling one of these days you'll be there, isn't that stay? When you ain't girl, you make me say crazy, crazy. You are me, girl, you're me. Yeah, swear chocolate I want buy. They say I love it, better make a man fight. But I girl, hold up, who better than? Bring her my own, my girl fine like it at a bang. I like the way she boogie down. Give me booty bounce, make her elevate her finance. Keep pushing and pressure, give her that girl nature. Sharp like saber, my girl so fine. Give me that one. I like the way you twirl. You twirl in the Maybach. She really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl. I'm loving the way you twirl. You twirl. Fresh up and it on me. But you can't do it slowly. You're dirty wine, would you put it for me? Look at that in the sleeve. I had a feeling one of these days you'll be there, isn't that stay? When you ain't girl. Yeah, you're pretty, my girl. Turn up the night, turn up the dance floor. I should ride the motorcycle. You know you got the kick in my drum. Ooh, I go do anything when consign my charges. Yeah, I go do anything when consign my shawty. I wanna go there, take me there. I wanna go there. Where the black thing, girl, don't take it from me. She really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl. I'm loving the way you twirl. You twirl in the Maybach. She really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl. I'm loving the way you twirl. You twirl.
It's gone 19 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Favorite Girl by Darku and Des Dion. And before that, we had Ndawana by Shasha, Kelvin Momo, and Sykes. This is the Upside on on Channel Africa, the African perspective with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. Don't go anywhere. After this little break, we get into conversation about that video that you saw on social media of the grade 10 learner being bullied by some seniors. And we want to understand or delve into the psychological aspects and impact thereof on the child himself, on the parents, and also to an extent understand the psychology of the bully and the bullies. What environments have they been exposed to sort of allow that behavior to be a norm to them and be so desensitized to the whole situation. It's 20 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. We'll get into our conversation with our psychologist right after this.
Parlez-vous couramment le français? Êtes-vous passionné par la radio? Et êtes-vous qualifié pour travailler en Afrique du Sud? Envoyez-nous votre CV et vos 3 minutes démo en MP3 à @channelafrica.co.za pour avoir une chance de rejoindre la famille Channel Africa. Si vous n'avez pas de réponse après 14 jours, cela signifie que vous n'avez pas été retenu. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
A disturbing video from Milnerton High School in Cape Town has again forced South Africa to confront the alarming reality of bullying in our schools. 8 learners have been suspended after violent group assault, captured on camera, showed a fellow student being beaten with a baton, belt and hosepipe and a hockey stick. What makes this even more harrowing is that the victim is a cancer survivor, now left to battle emotional wounds in what should be a safe learning environment, that is the school. The video has sparked outrage and deep concern among parents, educators and mental health professionals alike. As the nation demands accountability, the bigger question remains: how do we heal and shift the toxic cultures forming among our youth? Joining us now to unpack the psychological layers beneath incidents like this is Professor Jace Pillay, educational psychologist. Professor, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to The Upside. Let's get your sentiments. And upon seeing that video, what went through your own mind?
Good afternoon to you and to the viewers. So I think when I saw the video, I had some obviously mixed emotions. Mixed in the sense that what I saw was really not good at all. That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we are also used to our South African context where we see this as happening. Actually, it's quite common, but only few incidents come to be known to us. So that's why I'm saying I've got a mixed kind of reaction. But obviously, it's painful to see that. It is very heartbreaking to see something like that, especially amongst children behaving in that ways. But behind that, there's a whole lot of reasoning as to this kind of behaviors. I'm not sure whether you want me to get into that a bit.
Please do. Please do.
All right. So if you look at in terms of the violence itself, right? So there's an interplay in terms of individual, family, and community factors. Now, if I come from a theoretical perspective, I will look at a biopsychosocial model in terms of trying to understand what is happening in our South African schools. And when I say biopsychosocial, obviously there's biological background to it, but I wouldn't want to dwell on that too much because I really think more it's psychological and social. But from the biological context, the research shows us that parents who are inherently violent and aggressive and have anger issues also, let the children also have that. And also there's chemical imbalances in children as well that can also create problems. But as I'm saying, I'm not going to be looking for biological reasons. The main concern for me is the psychological factors. So if you look at the psychological factors, if a child is feeling insecure, lacks self-worth, self-value, low self-confidence, they're going to find other ways of acting out. And unfortunately, violence becomes one of the methods that they use in terms of getting attention and in terms of acting out. So from a social perspective, the violence in the families and the violence in the schools, in the communities spill over to the schools. So what we see basically is a continuous cycle of violence from one context, one system into another. So obviously then it is a systemic issue in terms of the violence itself. Now, if you look at the social context, you're looking at things like poverty, unemployment, crime, even our corruptions that we have. All of these things begin to manifest in terms of that behavior. Unfortunately, our children then see the violence at home, the violence in the communities, the violence in the media, the violence in the movies, and they think this is normal behavior. And this is why we need to behave in this way. So they internalize this old picture of being violent. So in terms of an economic point of view as well, the unemployment and the poverty creates a problem. In fact, what we found in our recent research is that children who are in the schools, and if they come from a poverty-stricken background, they get quite envious and jealous about other children. And because they don't have it, they want to steal. So the other things that contribute is the substance use and substance abuse, and also the gangs that now exist in schools. In some of the recent research that we did, we found like gambling, gangsterism are quite prevalent in those schools, and they are also a contributing factor in terms of what happens. So in a nutshell, basically, it's a systemic problem. And what we need to do is to see that how this violence is spilling over from one system, whether it's a family system, the community system, right into the school system. So that's basically in terms of what happens with regard to the violence itself. Of course, there are different types of violence. In terms of violence, it's more about physical force, but we also have verbal violence as well.
Yeah.
We have emotional kind of violence as well that contributes to where people go through the psychological turmoil of being victims of this. So obviously we're looking at the victims, but we're also looking at the perpetrators as well. They definitely need help because they're coming from a context where they have internalized these messages, and that is why they behave in this way.
It's a very big problem, Prof. And, as you're speaking, I'm getting a sense that even though a lot of parents may send their children to school, and sometimes you just have no idea, how your child is behaving in the school environment. But somewhere as a parent, you've missed a beat. You dropped the ball somewhere that has contributed to your child behaving in this manner. But then it becomes a situation, Prof, where it's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Is it the school's responsibility to fix this? Is it the parents' responsibility to fix this? But I'm getting a sense from your response that it needs to be a collective effort because it is a systematic disease that we are trying to solve here. So let's talk about the schools' role in this whole thing. How can they participate? And it must be very tough then to respond to that because we're looking at children from different backgrounds, different religious beliefs, children with different family systems, etc. But what is the school's role in what is happening on their grounds?
You touched on a very important point. I think in terms of interventions, definitely, if I'm talking about a systemic point of view, we need to have multi-level systems approach in terms of dealing with this issue. So it becomes a joint effort in terms of the families, the schools, and the communities in terms of addressing this problem. And of course, government has to take the lead as well in terms of bearing the responsibility with regard to bringing all these different stakeholders together. Getting back to your question then in terms of schools, I think it's very, very prudent that schools need to be creating a safe environment. Children want to go to school and they need to be safe. And I mean, the first interaction that you saw in terms of what happened at Milnerton is parents went to the school to take the children out. And that's quite obvious because they are concerned about the safety of the children.
Yeah.
So what needs to happen is that we need to make our schools safe. And I'm talking about in a physical sense, firstly, that we need to have protective measures. We need to have fences around our schools. We need to have cameras. We need to have all those things that will make a school safe. And of course, we do know that government will always tell us there is no budget for this. And this is where communities and businesses must come together in terms of saying, okay, we need to be investing in those schools because those are children, they are going to be our future leaders. So we need to put some into that, whether it's in terms of finances or whatever time that we have in terms of making those schools safe. Then also the schools have a responsibility in terms of having anti-bullying, anti-violence code of conducts. But having that on paper is not just good enough. You need to implement it and see that measures are taken when it is violated. And I think that's what's happening. We do have good policies and codes of conduct in schools, but it becomes very questionable in terms of how they are implemented. And I think if we really put drastic measures in implementing them, we're definitely going to see some kind of differences in terms of curbing the school-based violence. The other thing that schools need to do is
Professor,
look at the curriculum.
Sorry to cut you there. I'm going to have to ask that we park it there for now so that we can get the latest in sports and business. But I'd love for us to continue the conversation and wrap it up properly. Our conversation with Professor Jace Pillay will continue, educational psychologist, right after this. It's 31 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the latest in sports with Figile Lingwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Let's bet off with cricket news. Richard Ngavarva took 5 wickets in the second innings as Zimbabwe completed an innings and 73-run victory against Afghanistan on the third day of the one-off test played in Harare. It was Zimbabwe's first home test win since 2013, their first innings victory since 2001, and their biggest test win in the longest format. The visitors resumed day 3 on 54 for 1, but folded quickly as left-arm seamer Ngavarva sliced through the batting lineup for his maiden 5-wicket haul in Test cricket. Zimbabwe's mammoth win was set up when they bowled Afghanistan out for just 127 on the first day, with seamer Brett Evans taking 522 in 9.2 overs. The teams will now start preparations for the 3-match T20 International Series that starts on the 29th of October at the Harare Sports Club. Some more cricket news. South Africa have bounced back to level the 2-match test series against Pakistan, winning the second test in Rawalpindi by 8 wickets. Pakistan, who trailed by 71 runs after the first innings, resumed their second innings on 94 for the loss of 4 wickets on day 4. They were bowled out for 138 midway through the first session, with off-spinner Simon Harmer picking up 6 for 50 in 20 overs, his best figures in a test match. Requiring a mere 68 for victory, the Proteas reached their target in less than 13 overs. Captain Aiden Markram scored a brisk 42 of 45 balls. The two teams will now play a white ball series. The first of 3 T20 internationals is in Pindi next Tuesday. Rugby news. Emirates Lions rugby side wing Edward Keita says last weekend's victory over the Scarlets at Ellis Park was a huge confidence boost after a tough start to their United Rugby Championship campaign. The Johannesburg side endured a difficult overseas tour, losing all 3 opening fixtures against Cardiff, Zebri and Benetton. Keita says the win has lifted the team's spirits, but warns they'll face a serious test this weekend when they take on Ulster, who are currently on a 3-match winning streak.
We set a goal for ourselves that we must get 10 points from these 2 games, and I think it was a good start. It was still a tough game. Like Morna said, it's always a tough game. Doesn't matter who you play. And it's a different beast coming up this weekend. But yeah, the win for us just gave us a bit of confidence and belief in ourselves. And to make ourselves ready for the upcoming game.
And on to football news. It's Tina Sonke Mbuli, assistant coach of South Africa's women's football team, Banyana Banyana, has expressed a sigh of relief, having managed to secure an away goal in their 1-1 draw with DR Congo in the first leg of the CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers in Kinshasa on Wednesday night. South Africa are now motivated to seal the deal when they host DR Congo in the second leg at FNB Stadium next Tuesday. And for any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Figile Lingwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. The Morning Switch Weekend with the Shy Guy.
The story that takes us to Zambia. There are 2 men actually that were sentenced to prison for the plot to kill the president with witchcraft. You go like, what? So these guys were arrested actually in Lusaka, and what was found on them was a live chameleon. Can you believe that? Animal tails and bottles of concoction. That law takes us back to 1914, which is the Witchcraft Act. I can imagine now arrested and they go to jail for the next 2 years. You know, I presume that when you get to jail, they get to ask you actually, what is it that you committed? Now, this is the first of its kind, by the way, for somebody to be arrested for such. They in Pemba, whenever they pass, hey, Chikanga, Uloya, Mulosi. And imagine here I am in these early hours of the mornings. I get to talk about witchcraft.
Saturday and Sunday mornings belong to the Morning Switch. 3 to 6 a.m. Central African Time. The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
36 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Let's get the latest in business news. Matapelo Mahape is standing by.
The city of Tshwane in South Africa's Gauteng province has